she's a top broker in Minnesota already. Her secret power is the software she built for herself. Bluestream Analytics generated over $4 million in deal value for her in 2022, of which she keeps 3% of. So called $150,000 there of revenue. Now she has been frustrated investing over $100,000 of her own money in the engineering on our third iteration, but you know what? Now it's working. It's paying for itself. And the only question is, who should she start selling this to? She wants to sell it to other folks, other brokerages, but also doesn't want to lose the advantage it brings her. We'll see what she does next. Hey folks, my guest today is Maureen McGarry. She's a realtor and broker since 1995, passionate about working with investors and developed Bluestream Analytics, her software company. It's proprietary software that pinpoints investments and delivers analytics quickly. As a market leader in residential investing, she's eager to help investors succeed in reaching their goals. Maureen, you ready to take us to the top?
Sure.
All
Absolutely.
right. So how do you decide to go from, making 6% commissions to going, you know what, I want software margins instead. Let me build software.
That's a good question. It was pure frustration, trying to find investment property for my clients and sitting there with spreadsheets punching in numbers. After a few hours of that, you start pulling your hair out. Mm-hmm. And when you have clients sitting there with hundreds of thousands of dollars saying, find me something, and you can't get through the properties fast enough, I literally just one day said there has to be a faster way to do this. Mm-hmm. And that's where the idea was born. So I never intended to be a software developer, but that's what happened.
Now, is Bluestream, does it have customers, or are you the only customer? You use it to support your customers?
Right. So I developed it to support my customers, but then the word got out. And so now we're working to spread it around to other parts of the country and get it out there to other realtors and eventually other investors so that they can use it too.
But right now, just you?
Just us, yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Help me understand a little bit about sort of when you made the decision to start writing the code. So you got into the sort of this space in 1995. When did you write the first line of code for Bluestream?
So we started the initial code probably, let's see, I have to think like prior to COVID.
2020?
No, it was probably 2017.
2017.
Okay. Yeah. So
what did you do? Did you code it yourself? You learned how to code, or you hired? Okay.
No. I learned the hard way how to get your ideas out of your head to a developer. I had to go through that whole process of learning how to explain to a developer exactly what I wanted to do. And so we had a software that was working for us, but it didn't really have a user interface. And so then I learned what a user interface was. Mm-hmm. So that's where we started. And
who'd you hire? I mean, how did you find the first engineer?
Well, we interviewed a lot of engineers, and security was a big thing for us because, as it turned out, obviously we couldn't find anybody else that was doing this. So we wanted to make sure we had somebody we could trust, and that was not as easy as we thought. So we ended up hiring somebody that was related to me. And that was great because I 100% trusted him. And we worked with him for a couple of years until he had some health issues. And then we went with another recommendation that we had that we're working with now.
So you source these folks directly yourself. You went on LinkedIn, et cetera.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My husband is in the software world, so he helped and he kind of guided me too. Well, I learned that.
You said your husband is from the software world and sort of helped you find the first engineers?
Yeah, kind of. I could talk through, what to look for, what questions to ask, that kind of thing. If I had specific questions on what, what I needed to be aware of, yeah, that helped a lot.
I mean, the thing with a lot of folks make mistakes here because it's just you're speaking a different language, so you end up spending a bunch of money on a spec that isn't what you need. Then you have to fire that person, and the next person needs to start from scratch because they have, they want to build it on Python instead of SQL or whatever, right? It's a whole different set. I mean, how did you go through these iterations? And I mean, I don't want to ask this question. I hope it's no dollars, but how much money do you feel like you wasted sort of before you figured it out?
We're on the third revolution of this software. I would say we probably have 100,000 into it. That was a waste.
Oh, what's going on there, YouTube? Good to see you guys. Now imagine this. You love watching these interviews with SaaS founders, but imagine if we took all of the valuation data out from over 2,807 interviews I've done manually. Saves you a lot of time. Well, we've done this. We've built it into the beautiful interface inside of FounderPath. Check this out. I'll show you how you can access this in a second, but you log in, you connect your Stripe account, you see your valuation real time, you can see what it changed over the past 88 days, and even set goals for valuation this year. Now, the secret to valuation is there's many different ways to value a SaaS business. So the reason you're going to see 3 or 4 different valuations inside of your FounderPath dashboard, this is all free by the way, is because depending on who's doing the buying of your SaaS company, you're going to get a different valuation. A VC is going to pay a different valuation. Private equity firm is different. If you're going to do a minority sale, that's different. And if you sell the whole business, that's a different valuation. You can see all those when I hover over here. Right, so the teal is what a VC would pay, yellow is what private equity, and red is if you sold the whole thing outright. Now, what's cool about this is not built off random data. Again, you guys hear these interviews on YouTube. All these data are built from real-time valuation data points founders share with us on the show. So traction, 1.2 million, seed round, 3.7 raise, they sold 22% of their business. Go in here and filter by the event. Maybe you only want to see companies that have sold the whole business. Well, here are a bunch that have been acquired, the valuation and the multiple. Maybe you're going out right now and you're raising your seed round. Well, go in here and look at all this recent seed deals that went down, what they raised, what valuation they raised at, and what percent that they sold. There's never been a larger data set of SaaS valuations than what you can get now inside of FounderPath, and we're thrilled to bring it to you. All right, we're going to go back to the YouTube video here in a second, but if you want to check this tool out, if you want to jump in and sign up, you can check it out for free to get your valuation at this link, founderpath.com/products/valuations. Or if you go to founderpath.com and hover over products, click on get your valuation here and go ahead and sign up to give it a whirl. Again, all that valuation data live right inside the platform. I hope to see you there. All right, let's jump back into the interview. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's a waste, but also you sort of needed to do that to learn, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a process, and because of what we're doing and how we're doing it, it was tricky to put it together too. Yeah.
So what percent of your time last year was spent on the traditional brokerage business versus trying to build the software company?
I would say probably a third of my time was just on software, and a lot of that was just making contacts, finding data, because expanding it nationwide means finding the right data to do that, and that took a while. And then but I also use
Well,
the
what does that
software.
mean? You're identifying sources for the engineer to build into the tool?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
One of the pieces that I use here in Minnesota, which is where I am, and by the way, today is a snow day, so I'm working from home because we got this much snow. Um, we have a direct feed of the MLS coming into our system. So if you've ever worked with the MLS, which I don't know that you have, there's I think 500 or 600 MLSs in the country. And you can't just go in and sign up for that and get that data feed. You have to be licensed in that area. You have to jump through all kinds of hoops. It's not easy to do. So tracking that source down and figuring out how to expand to multiple markets is not easy. Yeah. So that was spent a lot of time on what pieces do I need to put all this together so that when we roll it out into other markets, we're ready to go.
Well, so how do you do that? I mean, don't you either have to sort of figure out a way to scrape it or have a local contact in every area who's got all the certifications to get you direct access? And in that case, why do they need Bluestream? Why don't they just use the MLS?
Well, to answer that question, the MLS doesn't analyze anything. You just punch in how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, blah 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 do I want. What our software is doing is what an investor wants. They want to know what their cap rate. They want a specific cap rate out of a property. They want a property that's going to be a good rental. They want to know what the rental rate's going to be. They want to know what their net income is going to be after they pay their expenses. They want a vacancy rate built in. That's what our software does. So it's much more advanced than anything you're going to get out of any MLS.
How would you compare yourself to some of these tools that are using Airbnb and VRBO data as their data source to get to cap rate, rental rate, vacancy rate? Tools like AirDNA, for example.
Well, AirDNA is a really cool tool if you want to do short-term rental. Because you can go in and you can look around, kind of like Zillow, what's going on. But what ours does is it says, okay, here's all the properties that are for sale in a market. And let's say you want to buy a rental. and this is your budget. This is how much you're putting down. This is your interest rate. This is the kind of return you want. These are your goals as an investor. That's what I'm putting to it. It's going out. It's looking at 10,000 properties, and it's saying here are the best 8 properties for you. These are the ones that will produce the best return based on what you want. These will meet your criteria. So
Mm-hmm.
you're not going in and sorting through hundreds of properties. It's doing all that for you in a matter of seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
for an investor so for a realtor, for instance, to be able to go into a market and find properties like that for investors, there's nothing like that out there.
Okay,
It's a
got it.
game changer. Yeah.
Yeah. So when do you think that you will be able to release this to the market and start signing up paid customers?
I'm hoping by this summer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I guess why have you, learning when to sort of quit is also just as valuable as learning when not to quit, right? So like, how much time and budget have you given yourself before you say, you know what, I'm going to go back to making whatever you make at the brokerage and just focus on that?
When am I going to quit? I don't know. Right now, I think I'm at the age where I just want to see if I can do it. And
I like that. You like a challenge.
everybody that I show it to, I have a coach that I'm working with who's great. His name's Carl Gould, and Carl, he said, all right, go out and show it to, do 10 sales calls, do 10 Zoom calls, whatever. And I did like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 of them. Every single person was like, how do I sign up?
Mm-hmm.
And I
And
called him. I'm like, I
do you
can't keep
try and get them
selling
to sign
this.
up? Do you send them
Oh,
an
they'll
invoice and
sign
say,
up, but I'm not in their market yet. So
well,
we
yeah,
were
but
just
why? I mean,
gauging
look,
them.
your friends are all going to say yes. I mean, why
No, these
not when
weren't
they
friends. These were people in other
Mari, my,
markets.
my my point is, why not like lock them in, right? If they're saying yes on a
Right,
Zoom call, why not follow up with an invoice and say, here, pre-commit to paying?
right. We can do that. We can do that. But my point was
Have you done
everybody that
that?
sees it. Yes, I have a list of people that want it.
No,
Absolutely.
but
I have whole
my point is though, is like when we do these user research calls, people will say yes to your face on Zoom. When you
Mhm.
follow up with an invoice and ask them to sign, committing to $200 a month for 12 months, then pedal goes to the metal. They tell you the real truth. Have you gotten people to
Okay.
sign invoices
I have not
committing
got
to,
them to sign invoices. No, no. But I have a
got it.
list of people that want it when we're in their market. Right.
How did you decide who to get on the phone call to sort of show it to?
Um, Different connections. I had different realtors that I knew, and then they referred me to other people. I reached out to different markets. I asked different people I know in different I know a lot of entrepreneurs, so I would ask different entrepreneurs in different
Mm-hmm.
markets. I have clients in different states, so
And
they had
what's your
people.
burn? I just want to understand how much pain you're feeling here, bro, until you get it released to the market, right? I mean, what are you spending per month right now on engineering costs to keep building this thing?
Well, right now we're not spending much until we get ready to expand it to the different markets. I think to keep it going in our market, it's not much. It's maybe 1,000 a month, but
Okay.
we use it within our brokerage.
Yep.
Once we get it out to the other markets, then it will depend on which markets we're in and what data we're pulling and that type of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Has this
we need more
has this
than one or
led to
two
increased
users.
revenue at the brokerage? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
can you quantify how much sales last year came from the software identified?
I had yeah, I had so just working part-time on sales, I had almost 4 million from the software.
In closed deals,
Yes.
of
Mhm.
which you would make what, 3% of or 6% of?
Well, I figure 3% on those. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Got it. So you
Yeah,
could
because
say the software generated 120,000 bucks of revenue for you last year, 3% of 4 million.
right. Right.
Okay. So maybe maybe you've actually already recouped everything you've spent on the software.
Oh, absolutely, I have, yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you think
Well,
about
you're
like
eating your
a
own dog food. We love that.
I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, that's true.
Well, I
That's
mean, that's the
true.
best way to build a software product, right? I mean, if it's
Yeah.
working for you, then the question becomes, well, wait, do you even want other people to have this, or do you want to use it just as your secret tool to build your brokerage to be the biggest? You know?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, it works. It works great. I mean, if you get on a Zoom call with an investor, I had one that had to quickly within 30 days buy a $1.5 million for a 1031 exchange in single family homes. No brainer. 10 minutes later, we're signing a contract.
How do you
I mean,
decide, though? I mean, it sounds like this is a powerful tool that's an unfair advantage for you to build the largest brokerage in Minnesota. If that was the case, you wouldn't want to sell this to anybody.
there's not a lot of realtors who do investment uh, Honestly, there's a lot of education that needs to happen in the real estate world for this to be a great tool. So there's only certain realtors that are going to invest in the time and the energy to learn how to do this,
But my
and they'll
point
pay
is, if you
for it.
sell this to a bunch of people in Minnesota, do you lose its advantage? Do you lose the advantage?
Um, I think I think there's plenty of I think we would limit it to different markets, different zip codes and areas. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to sell it to, everybody that wants it, but
Hmm.
um, Minnesota doesn't have as much rental as a lot of other markets. We don't have
Yep.
as many MLSs here.
Yep.
Like say Florida, they have like 15 or 20 MLSs. So it's a much bigger market down there.
Well, Maureen, we're rooting for you. We're out of time though for today. Let's wrap
Thank
up here
you.
with the famous five. Number one, favorite business book.
It was, I'm reading Profit Before People right now. I like that.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
Um, no, but I have a lot of friends that are CEOs, other entrepreneurs, so I
All
rely
right.
on that group a lot.
Number
Mhm.
three, what's your favorite online tool for building Bluestream analytics?
No, I'm kind of a numbers geek. I would say Excel,
Yep.
and
Number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
it ranges from 2 to 8.
Okay, fair enough. And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
26 years married, three
Wow.
kids,
Wow,
two
that's amazing.
20s, one almost 18.
That's exciting. And do you mind me asking how old you are?
I am over 50.
Over 50. Fair enough. 50, she's 50 years young, folks. Maureen, last
Thank
question.
you.
What's something you wish you knew when you were 20?
Um, Study business and software.
Guys, she's a top broker in Minnesota already. Her secret power is the software she built for herself. Bluestream Analytics generated over 4 million bucks in deal value for her in 2022, of which she keeps 3% of. So call it 150,000 bucks there of revenue. Now she
Mhm.
has been frustrated investing over 100,000 bucks of her own money in the engineering on our third iteration, but you know what? Now it's working. It's paying
Mhm.
for itself. And the only question is, who should she start selling this to? She wants to sell it to other folks, other brokerages, but also doesn't want to lose the advantage it brings her. We'll see what she does next. Maureen, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, three hungry buyers. They try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.